Welcome back to Faye's Place, a podcast where dreamers have the liberty to dream. I'm your host, Phaedra, and I am so excited that we have this time to dream together. So as you know or may not know, in recent years, I earned my master's in film and creative media with an emphasis in screenwriting. So that means I don't only look at TV and movies just for fun. It's my job. For this Mentor Monday, I'll be talking about all the things that I find useful in writing a script. All right, let's get into it. So the first thing I would say is create the pitch deck first. This forces you to really understand your world, understand your characters, and forces you to create an outline before you write your script. When I was in graduate school, I really didn't understand the concept of outlining a script beforehand, but now I say take the time out, do the outline. And I don't make this up. A lot of professionals say that this is extremely important to do before you start writing. In fact, Ray Benjamin, who we had on the podcast, I heard her say that a lot of writing happens before you even write. So it's thinking about what you're going to write, especially when you're dealing with a movie or a TV sitcom. You want to make sure that all the beats are written out so it can flow. As you know, you have to have a clear beginning, middle, and end. And then take that extra time to figure out, okay, what is the inciting incident? What is the midpoint? What is the climax? How is this resolved? Also, the pitch deck can help you visualize what you're writing about. So you can visualize, okay, this is the scene. Even though you have that in your head as the writer, when you have it on a slideshow or however you want to form your pitch deck, when you see that actual picture, it's easy for you to write in that space because you see it. Also, thinking about the actors that you want to portray the character helps as well, because then you can kind of hear it in their voice. Even though those actors may not play those actual characters, it kind of helps you in writing because it's like, okay, I can hear them say that. This is how they will say it. Hey, you never know. You might find somebody better to portray your character. Another benefit for having a pitch deck before your script is so you can clearly identify what your story engine is and what your characters' needs are. If your characters do not have needs, you do not have a story. It's just going to be very confusing trying to follow, okay, they're talking, but what are they actually saying? And a sidebar, this is why I always thought authors were the smartest people in the world, because I was like, they're actually able to say something while they're secretly saying something else. It was fascinating to me. I remember being in graduate school and they were trying to teach us how to write dialogue. And they would always say, because you know, when people talk, they don't really say exactly what they want. They say something else. And I'm like, the people I talk to, they're very direct. So it took me a while for me to grasp this concept, but it's really cool. And it sounds hard to do, right? Think of something that someone can say, but they really mean something else. It seems hard to do, and it is hard to do if you do not know your story. That's why you should do your pitch deck first. When you understand your character and know their needs, it's easy for you to write their dialogue because you know what they're going to say. And it helps them to be individuals instead of three characters sounding the same. And it reminds me of what Quinta Brunson talked about when trying to write for different characters. She said if there was a $5 bill on the ground, every character would pick it up differently. Another useful tip is watching and analyzing the comp of your story. So for example, if you want to write a story that's similar to Matlock, I'm talking about the new Matlock with Kathy Bates. We love you, Miss Hannigan. If you want to write a show that's similar to the new Matlock, definitely watch that show, analyze it. But don't only watch that specific show. Watch other shows that are similar to that specific comp as well. The more, the merrier. Because the more research you do, you might discover things that you can add and say, oh, I really like how they do it here. Plus, you have to add comps to your what? Pitch deck, which is another reason why you should do your pitch deck first. All right, so you did your pitch deck first. Now you're moving on to actually writing the script. This is what I say about editing. It's true. Just write your messy version first and then go back and edit. The only time that I would say go back and reread previous sections while you're writing is so you can make sure that what you just wrote is flowing into the next scene. But don't edit it at that time. Just make sure that it's flowing. When you come to a stopping point for the day, for that section, then go back, edit it, and make sure it sounds good. I always find it helpful to step away from the page and then come back, whether that is a couple of hours or the next day. Definitely take time so your brain can refresh and process, and then you can look at it with a new pair of eyes. And to go back to comps, you're not watching comps to compare your work to someone else's work. You're watching the comps to analyze their structure and how they were able to create the work that you're trying to create. So it's very different. What you will find out is that no matter how original your idea is, it's really not that original. But what makes it original is the way that you think, your perspective, how you view the world. So definitely lean into that, but also check out how other people are able to do it. And with that being said, there's no harm in listening to podcasts or interviews of other professional screenwriters. You can listen to tips. You can see how they overcame certain obstacles that they faced, and ultimately it will inspire you to keep going, and that's what it's all about. These are the tips that help me in my screenwriting process. I am definitely an advocate for creating your pitch deck first, not just to complement your script, but as a vision board to help you write your script. And you probably will have to go back and tweak some slides once you complete your script due to changes, but that's totally okay. Now that I shared some things that help me with my screenwriting process, I'm interested in knowing what you do. Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this episode and what we're doing here on Faye's Place, be sure to give us an excellent rating on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Tune in next Monday for another episode with you in mind. I love you all for listening. Hi friends, it's Phaedra, and you are listening to Faye's Place. Join us each week as we talk to industry insiders about their journey and what it takes to turn dreams into a reality. Whether you aspire to be in the entertainment field or just inspired by the hustle, count this as your backstage pass. Join us every Monday for a brand new episode. And also follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook at Faye's Place.